Hello, and welcome to Marriage the Real Talk. Your girl Amber here. I am so excited that we are live and in color today. Welcome to Marriage the Real Talk. And if we have not met, again, I am Amber, the visionary of this awesome community platform where we talk about not only marriage, but everything connected to relationships, whether you are married, single, divorced, widow, separated, it's confusing, situationship. It doesn't even matter. We all have a place in this thing we call the relationship journey. And I'm a big believer that in community, we can really learn, glean, and grow from one another. And so, whatever may have brought you here today, we're glad you are here, whether you're tuning in live in our Facebook group or even on YouTube or wherever else this link might flow in the world. We're glad that you're tuning in today, and I'm hoping that you won't only just listen in, but you'll come on into the community. You'll be a part of our family so that we can also learn from you. Today, we have a wonderful conversation just for you. So before we even bring up this wonderful powerhouse of a woman, I want to invite you to just take a seat, relax, get your favorite beverage, get your favorite snack, and just expect a good time. Like I said, because we do learn and grow from one another, the goal for today's conversation is that you'll be able to get some gems, some wisdom nuggets, something from this wonderful woman's story to help you either in your life now or as you go through your journey, something that might help you in the future. Okay, we're going to go ahead without further ado to bring up our wonderful guest today. This woman she has so many different hats she wears, so much experience. I'm not going to steal her shine, so to speak. But Miss Alonda, are you with us?
Hey, everybody.
Alonda, I'm going to give you a little snippet on her, and then I'm going to have her just go on into her intro telling us about herself. But she's an author. She's a mom of three. She's a business owner. She's a coach, on and on and on. The list could go on. I didn't want to read a bio because I'm a big believer that we just want to experience the bio. I mean, we do enough of reading. And so I'm just going to throw it right over to you. And before I have you share about yourself, I want to say again, thank you so much for being a part of Marriage and Real Talk today. I know you've been on various platforms and TV shows, and you have your own podcast and all the rest. Thank you for just saying yes to come and share pieces of your story today. We really appreciate it and call it an honor to have you with us.
Oh, no, thank you, Queen. It's an honor to be here. Definitely I love to help. I love to share and love to invite in anywhere that I can, because I feel like, as my theme as the becoming coach, you have to become so that someone else knows that it's possible. And you definitely have to tell your story so that people know that they're not alone. So definitely thank you. It is an honor and a privilege to be here.
Awesome. Well, I'm just going to throw it over to you. Give us a little bit more. You talked about the becoming coach. We're going to go into that later, but give us a little bit of backdrop, where you're from, your occupation, kids, that type of thing, and then we'll move ahead from there.
So I am Alonda Brooks, affectionately known as the Becoming Coach. I am all things becoming. I help my clients leap into their becoming to become the total package. My company is called I Must Become Enterprises, because once you know that you are ready, you must become, because your legacy is attached to everything that you do. So listen, I'm a mom, I'm a mompreneur, and I'm a momager. My kids have amazing talents and businesses as well. So I'm the mommy of Drew, Davin, and Dorian Brooks. They are amazing. And I'm blessed and honored to be their mom. I am the little sister to Albert and Alan, and I'm the only daughter to Jay and Donna. So I'm originally from Rahway, New Jersey, but I have lived in Cincinnati, Ohio most of my life. What else about me? I'm all things fun and creative. I'm definitely the fun friend in the pack. So I definitely enjoy coaching. I'm an author. I'm an international best-selling author. I'm a publisher. I am a podcast host to I Am Becoming. So where I lead the charge every Sunday. So actually my show is airing right now as we're doing this interview to my amazing becomers. So that's just a little bit about me. I'm a cosmetologist of 21 years. So actually a salon owner as well. I have a product line called the Like Sunday Collection, and my salon is called the Like Sunday Salon and Spa. So I do a lot of many things and have a lot of many talents, which I'm so grateful to God to be chosen to be a vessel that He could flow through. So that's a little bit about me.
A little bit. Really?
Just a little.
That was like everything. You know how many people can't be a cosmetologist for 20 years and have kids and have a podcast and be an author? What? You talk about a little bit.
Well, listen, there's no perfect formula. Yeah, and I'm under 40. That's amazing though, to do all of that and be under 40. So I'm a little insane because I wear a lot of hats, but listen, there's no perfect formula, but hey, I'm just grateful.
You know what? You're my type of person because I too also do a lot of different things. I'm a designer. I'm a mompreneur. You said my manager. How did you say that again?
A momager. Listen,
momager. I never heard that. What is that?
Yeah, you manage all of your children's talents and their things that they do. You're definitely a momager. You're definitely a momager.
Wow. Maybe because my littles are still little. My son will be turning 4 next week, and my daughter Dream is going to be a year in November. So maybe I haven't became that yet because they're not.
No, you're definitely that. You're definitely that. You're always from conception. You're managing whatever they do and cultivating whatever it is that you want them to become. So you're definitely that. You're definitely a mom of many systems. So you are definitely a momager as well. For sure.
Okay, well then I learned something new about myself already. Thank you, boo. So we're going to jump into today's conversation that's talking about becoming the best in spite of divorce and single parenting. In spite of divorce and single parenting. And I just want to throw this out there that, you know, if you haven't gotten anything else from Alonda just yet, is that she came to shine, okay? My word for life is thrive, okay? So everything I do is talking about thriving. Her key word is becoming, you know, and I think even just piggybacking on these key words is so important, especially as women, that we find words that we just identify with, that we take hold of, and that we really run with, you know. And so I love that when we connected, not even that long ago, we connected through a mutual business partner and coach, and he connected like, y'all talking the same thing, y'all doing this, y'all probably should meet, you know. And then we connected. She had this keyword becoming, and my keyword is thrive. Like, it's my prophetic word. It doesn't mean we're always in these spaces, but for me, and you'll even be able to speak to this on your end, I use the word thrive because it's a powerful word. It's a prophetic word. It's a charging. It's an action word. And I felt like it was important to associate a word that no matter what season of my life I'm in, it propels me to move. And so then I was like, you know, I'm going to put it on my website. So my website is actually Amber Mabry Thrive, you know, and so it's just putting that power behind ourselves as females, as women, as moms, as wives is so important. And so in that same way, I love that becoming is your word, to the point where you have a whole system, you coach through this becoming. It's powerful. And so I'm going to go off our radar for a minute and just let's talk about this becoming word, because words are powerful. And it is important that whether we're single, married, divorced, widowed, separate, that we do associate powerful words with the lives we want to live, so that when things do change, we have that in spite of divorce and parenting. When challenges come and things do shift, we still can become. So I'm going to throw it over to you. Give us some insight on why you think it's important to understand the power of words, and then explain what is becoming. What does that mean to you?
So when I started my journey to get back to myself after divorce, right? So God, you know, how I speak to God, God is like, you're so hard on yourself. He was like, you are a flawed individual, you own that, but you are becoming, like, you don't have to be perfect. And I think, like, for me, if you know me, I strive for perfection. And so God was just like, just be gentler with yourself. Just say, I'm becoming flawless as I follow Christ. And you're becoming, like, you are literally a constant work in progress. You are an ever evolving human being. And so, and I want to go on record. I love Auntie Michelle Obama, but I was using becoming before her. But anyway, so listen. I know that people like, no, you know, no, but no, I literally have been using it before that. And so, you know, becoming is just basically saying, listen, I got my hands up. I'm surrendered. I know that I'm a flawed individual. I know that I'm not a perfect character. But here's the thing, I'm perfecting. I'm humbling. You know, if you a church kid, you know the saying, I decrease that you may increase in me as you come to God. And it's just basically saying, like, listen, I'm nothing without him, but I'm trying to be everything for myself and for my legacy. I am becoming. I'm a work in progress. It's just saying, like, I'm on this journey and I'm determined that I'm going to do whatever I need to do to become.
And how did you come up with that word, or how did you, like, when did it become something that you took a hold of for yourself?
I think just when you constantly measure your life, right? I'm a person that's always trying to learn something. I'm always trying to grow. I'm always trying to be self-actualized. So I just feel like when you go through something like divorce and you have this life plan for yourself and it starts to take a turn, or you have to make a decision that is course altering, you have to find some way to get yourself back up. You have to find a way to self motivate yourself to keep going. And I know, like, for me, even though I was constantly in motion, I kept being so hard on myself because I was like, this was not my plan. This was not where I saw my life going. I had plans. And so when you have to alter that plan, it totally, it's almost like when you have a car accident, right? When you have a car accident, the first thing you think about is, thank God I'm alive, but you think about where you were going because your brain is still going to that place, right? And you're like, oh my God, people are going to be worried about me. It's like you worry about your life for like a second, and then you think about, like, all the things that you were supposed to do where you were going. And so I think that is so much like how we live our life every day. When it's so hard for us to be in that in-between space of you know, just first being thankful that we're alive, figuring out why we had to course correct. We always think about, but I had plans. And so for me, the becoming was just a way for me to really kind of cope and say, you know what, you're still on this journey. You didn't lose the fight. You're still on the fight. It just looks different, and we're still gonna get to where we're going. This was a little bump in the road, but you're still on a journey. And so that was my word that I began to say to myself. And I was just like, God, I don't count me out. Don't count me out. I was a little altered. I was a little shaken. I was a little broken. But I wasn't destroyed. Like, I'm still repairable, and I still want to do the work to get back on the course.
Wow. Powerful. I'm just going to pause and reiterate what you just said to a couple people. Don't count me out. Life is going to shift. You're on a journey. Keep going. Like, become, and know that becoming it's already a journey. It's supposed to be a journey. So just keep going. I love that. So let's backtrack a little bit. We know we got the divorce piece in there, but let's go back to before the divorce happened. So what age were you when you got married? Why did you get married? And what was the experience like initially when you first got married? Like, what was that, Alonda, like?
Oh, okay. So I was 22 when I got married. my ex-husband, actually, I knew since high school. He was like my high school crush, actually. And we had always were like really, really cool in high school, but we like never dated. And I actually went on a world tour. And when I came home, I saw his best friend. And it just kind of was like destined to kind of like, be together. And so it was funny because I was with one of my friends and we were talking about people we used to have a crush on in high school. And so we had actually saw his best friend, and that was actually the person that she had a crush on. So it just kind of, he was like, I've been looking for you. I've been looking for you. And we just kind of, exchanged numbers, and it just kind of took off from there. And I thought, at the time, I grew up in a church where I saw young Black marriage, so I was very hopeful for it. And but it was a lot of brand messaging missing about what it takes to be married. And
Well,
so I think that we all have a foundation that we don't really realize how much it affects our viewpoint on what marriage is or what we feel like we need for marriage. And so I would say both of our messaging was kind of messed up. So
give us a little behind the scenes when you say messaging. What do you mean by messaging? Fill us in on what that looks like.
I would honestly say one of the things that I thought was that being married for me was vindication for what I have been through as a child. And I felt like if I could just be successful at that and build another legacy, and that was my goal. And so I just wanted, like, I had this whole Bonnie and Clyde, like if we could just beat the odds mentality, because I was a product of divorce. And so I just wanted to fix that rift I felt like in my legacy. I mean, I did love my ex-husband, but I was just more so like, no, the enemy he's not gonna have my bloodline. And that was just what made me stay and made me really work towards it. I definitely did a lot of work on myself, but I still had a lot of misconceptions about what marriage was and even what relationships were, because I was broken on my foundation, and I didn't really realize how many cracks I had in my own foundation until I got on the marriage journey.
Wow, on the journey. So let's go down the journey a little bit. You're married in your 20s. Things are going good. And I heard you say you grew up in a home that experienced divorce. I'll pause there. Do you have other examples in your life of any healthy relationships, healthy marriages, or not so much?
So this is the thing. I knew how to be healthy because my grandparents are divorced, actually, but they probably have the healthiest like co-parentship, co-relationship. And like even when our friends meet our grandparents, they're like, swear on the Bible they're divorced, because they still act like a married couple in a sense of they have the togetherness. They're like, listen, no matter what happened with our marriage, we're gonna do what it takes for our legacy. So I think like that, I grew up wanting that, you know what I'm saying? So like there was never like any unnormality, like, we would do things as a family on both sides. Like I could literally go to New Jersey right now, probably walk in my grandmother's house, and my grandpa could be just there chilling, like, as friends. So like, I definitely saw the friendship side of relationships. But as far as, I did have my aunt and my uncle are married. They've been married for like 25 years. They have a really amazing marriage. So yeah, I mean, I did see, but I mean, who's to say now that I've been married, I've lived a little bit, who's to say that anybody's marriage is the perfect example, right? I feel like you just got to get two people who are willing to be like, listen, we're going to ride this till the wheels fall off and beyond. We're going to do whatever it takes to make this work by any means necessary. Right. I don't feel like anybody has the perfect marriage, even if you have a great marriage. I just feel like that's just a lot of pressure to say, oh, I have a perfect marriage. But I feel like there are perfectly imperfect people for each other, and that are like, we're going to make it work no matter what.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. I think it's good to see healthy relationships. But one thing I have learned is that no matter who you are, you have to make your own journey. And that one of the words you just said is always my key word for marriage is willingness, because you're willing to walk down that aisle, but that willingness got to keep willing, keep moving,
It's
year
I
after
tell
year,
people,
and day after day, and moment after moment, and the ups and downs. Because once willingness stops, it's not
yeah.
saying everything's gonna be perfect, but when willingness is not there on either side, and it just keeps
Mhm.
not being there, a house divided, it's just not gonna stand. So, thank you for sharing that. And so, on to like your marriage, and this is something you can highlight for you or even just those viewers who might be watching. What do you feel like are the main challenges that you faced in your marriage that made it like this is it? What caused the divorce? And then if there's any insight on this advice for those who might be in that same place of trying to figure out, well, what are we doing here? I'll throw that out to you.
So, okay, so the main thing was I was always the other woman in my relationship. So the thing was we dealt with addiction. So I say that, we never even got to deal with, like the petty little marital stuff that most people deal with, because my ex-husband had an addiction. And I would say that it took me probably into the second year of marriage to really know, like, okay, there's a problem here. And so we began to really fight. We got into counseling, small groups. We really, I really tried. But I say honestly, the best advice that I could give to anyone is I have a theory. I feel like you said, willingness. I feel like you're not going to be 100% every day, but you have to show up at whatever percentage you are on at 100%. You got to give 100% of your 5% and allow that person to love you in grace and say, you know what, baby, today you take this 5% back and I'll make up the difference. I got you. And so
Mm-hmm.
I feel like when you love each other like that, nobody ever feels taken for granted, because you are really coming. You're like, no matter what, I'm still going to do what I got to do, instead of just saying like, well, I don't feel like it today. You like, marriage is literally a choice that you have to make
Come
over and
on,
over and over
over and
and over.
over. Mm-hmm.
And so, and that's, and then also too, I also say this is what I learned. I feel like you also have to choose yourself, because if you are not working on your self fulfillment every day within yourself, then you have nothing to bring to the table. I feel like you have to constantly make a choice to grow up within yourself. And I think that that's what I see a lot of people do. They think that they have to completely, we hear the saying you have to die to yourself, but I feel like that means something different to me now. I feel like you have to still make a conscious choice to continue to grow within yourself, because what I didn't know was it's not your spouse's responsibility
Come on.
for your happiness. And so,
Hold on. Pause. Hold on. We're gonna rewind it.
yeah,
Okay, I'm gonna
that
need
was a
you to
big
say
thing
that
for me.
again. One more
Yeah,
again.
your spouse is not responsible for your happiness, so you still have to also
Mm,
do things to build your own joy every day. And so for me, I would
so
say,
true.
um I kind of lost my joy because I thought that my career aspirations that I have for myself that were weighted a little bit in my joy, I had to give up. But again, we dealt with a lot of addiction. So there was a lot of mistrust. There was a lot of extreme circumstances, but you can read about that in my book that I'm getting ready to put out. I tell you the whole nitty gritty of the story. And so, yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot.
How did those addictions affect you personally? I mean, just pausing because I
Ooh.
know as women, um, and because I'm in this group and God has me in this space, there's just different conversations and also discernment and also personal experiences where I know women carry the weight of trying to work through and process through. And this is not just focusing on women caring for men. I'll say that because men carry for women. the just the burden of wanting to see your spouse come to a different level or come out of addictions or come out of whatever it is, the growth. I'll just say the growth processes. What was that like knowing he had an addiction, trying to work with him through that for you? What was that like?
Okay. So I'll give you the positive and the negative really quickly. The positive was I really learned the true definition of unconditional love. I am really can say that I'm really a Christian because baby, if you ain't never been through nothing like that before, I guarantee you ain't never prayed or fasted or cried as much as you could in your life. But so I would say that I really truly learned the true definition of unconditional love. And I also learned how to separate the wrestle between not against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities and spiritual wickedness in high places. Like I literally learned that scripture. And so for me, I think the hardest part about it was watching someone you love kill themselves.
Ooh.
That was really hard. And not to be overly superly churchy, but this is real. The transferring of spirits, how that heaviness can come on you, and how it's layers to get up out of that darkness and that heaviness and that sadness and that pain. So for me, it really took me down. I was still moving. I was still a positive person. Like a lot of people didn't even really realize like how much I really was going through, because I was determined that I was still going to become. And then once children came into it, I was determined that my kids weren't going to get caught in the storm. But I also realized that where I could have internalized a lot of stuff, where I think that most people do when they go through different types of circumstances in divorce, I realized that he really wasn't doing anything to me particularly, but I was just a casualty of the war that he had going on within himself. And so that was when I chose to make a change, because I was always the one fighting for the marriage. Like, oh, we can work on it. We can pray. We can fast. We can do it. But I was the one always wanting to hold on. And he was the one always wanting to leave until the end. So, yeah, so yes, I was determined to still become. I think that that was why I think that it didn't take my mind, because I would say that I did go to small groups. I began to work a program, and I saw where a lot of women, it really affected their mental health, a lot of what they went through. So I mean, I was grateful that it didn't take me down as far as it could have taken me down.
Wow. So how do you separate the difference between, because the fast and pray and seek God for the spouse and for the marriage, a lot of times it seems women want the marriage more than the other. And that, again, is not true in all cases, but most cases, the woman that's fighting for the family unit, for the marriage, for the man, for the home, all the stuff. When did you give up the fight, or when did God release you? I don't know the story, so I don't want to assume. But
yeah,
when God was that breaker of like, you know what, he this is his journey. He needs to work through it. You've done your part. Like, what did that look like? Speak to that for a moment.
So let me put this out there. We went through 3 stints of rehab, 3 stints of jail through this addiction. And so when I got pregnant with my son, I believe that when he went to jail the last time, God was like, listen, the freedom started though with my old bishop. He said he was an older man. They had been married for years and years. And he said, I remember years before I even had kids, he came back to my remembrance. He said, listen, he was like, I know I'm old school and I know you would think that I would tell you to stay, pray and fight. He said, but what I'm going to tell you is this. He said, he broke your vows. He said, and I'm not going to hold you hostage to that old church junk. He said, I'm going to tell you this. He said, if you want to, he said, then you pray, fast, and you fight. He said, but I want you to be careful. He said, I do not want to come back here and eulogize you because you have allowed him to give you AIDS. And I never forgot that. And so, as I began, when I had children, I was pregnant with my second son. And the day that I found out about my second son, the hour before, I was in court with him. And the judge was like, he looked out in the audience and he saw me. He said, is your wife going to stand by you as his sentencing? And he was like, I don't. He's like, I told you, but when you first came before me, he said, I didn't want to hold her hostage to your choices. And so he said, but I'm gonna show you leniency. And so I constantly seen the hand of God in the whole process, because even though I went through some things, I realized that God still had his hand on me, because he wasn't going to make me suffer. And so I said, you know what? I had a moment going through the pregnancy. I knew spiritually that I was already pregnant, because God had shown me a vision that my son was coming. And so I said, you know what? I gotta stand up too. I can no longer allow what my children are seeing. I don't want to co-sign that for them. I don't want to put them in the junk that I don't want to teach my daughter, like, this is what a ride or die woman does. And I don't want my son or anybody else coming and think like, this is what marriage is. So I was equally as responsible to control the narrative. And so and then also too, I didn't want to feel like I was feeling. I was starting to feel like I was going to die young because of the stress and because of the danger. And so you just gotta really get real with yourself. Like, this is not love. This is not love. And I can honestly say, shout out to my daddy. It's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Dad.
Happy birthday, Dad.
My dad loved me. And so I had to also remember, like, my pastor said one time, how you correlate your relationship with God is how you see your father. And what I can say is my dad loved me. And I was like, I would not allow my dad's love for me and the detail of his love, this be the legacy. Like, this is not for me. And I was like, you know what? I can love you and not allow you to continuously abuse me. And I'm just not going to do it anymore. And I told God, I said, God, I know this is going to hurt because I'm loyal and I love this person. But I said, God, you got to make this right for me. You got to give me the strength to get up and get out of this situation. And I said, and I'm ready. And so he did that. He did it for me. He gave me release. And it was hard because people was like, y'all can't work it out. And I'm like, do y'all know what we done been through? Let me tell you. Like, listen, I'm like, listen, can't nobody make me feel guilty for it no more. Because I said, like, I'm going to stay till I know that I've done everything that I can do to make it work. And I did it all, child. I probably, listen.
I mean, it sounds like it without even knowing your whole story. You said multiple jail, counseling, praying, fasting, forgiving. I'm sure,
Yeah. I was baptized twice in a year. Like, listen, when I tell you I did it all, I did it. Oh, you hear me? I got baptized.
So was he trying to? I mean, we always hear that side, but what was going on in his head, or do you feel like because of the addictions and issues that he needed to work through as a man and on his own, he wasn't able to meet you? Was he trying also to work on things, or not so much?
I feel like he did try. He did go through the motions. So that's why I know people like, well, why you stay so long? He went through the motions. Like, trust me, child, we joined 170 churches. He'd have been to the altar. Like, we was going together. So I'm just saying, like, when you read the book, you'd be like, okay, because I know it's when people hear the story, you'd be like, but why you stay so long? Because I was married for 14 years. And yeah, it was a minute. So so the thing is though, I feel like he had a war going on within himself. So a part of also the reason why I waited so long is because I changed my prayer too. In my young wifehood, I stopped praying for him to be the husband because I wanted to see him whole. And that was the thing when you know an individual. So the thing is, I knew him before he was my husband. So it was like a part of that friendship still like weighed heavily in the marital relationship. It was like, man, like I've literally known you since you were like a young man. So it's like I care about you on a different level. I think like had it just been like somebody I met,
that loyalty piece was strong.
Yeah, we had no backstory. I definitely would have been out of there like early before the kids came. Like, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, because listen, when I tell you, like, I had all the reasons to leave. Like, listen, that's why I was like, can't nobody tell me I ain't love you. But we would walk in the counselor sometimes, and the counselors be like, the one counselor, he was so real. He said, listen, I know why you want to be with her, but I don't really quite know why she want to be with you.
Oh, wow.
Listen.
So,
wow. You know, but yeah, it's he was trying, and I just feel like, again, but it has to be something that you got to be willing to die to yourself. And I think sometimes that, you know, when you constantly pick stuff up and you keep trying to put it down, eventually you do turn over to a reprobate mind. Like you really like, you got to be careful what you out here in this world playing with. You really do.
Addictions ain't no joke. So let me even pause right there and talk to our singles. Hey, singles. Hey, engaged Real Talk fam. We got something for you. This question is to that specific group. For those who are single or engaged, what are the things you think they should pay attention to or be aware of that a lot of us, you know, because life is just one of those things. You're not going to know it all, right? So we're not beating nobody over the head for just learning our lessons after marriage. But one of the things I love about Real Talk is the goal is to drop these nuggets. So before we get to a place, we know how to glean and pick up those things. So if you could speak to the singles or those who are currently engaged and give any level of advice or insight from your journey, what would those wisdom nuggets be before getting married?
Okay, so this is what I was saying. I'm pro like meet the family. Meet the family early as you can. Because we get infatuated quick, child. We be like, we in love. Meet the family. The family tells you a lot. Hey, I want to meet your mom on the first, second date. I'm not going to hold you up because it tells you a lot about what that person has marinated in. And you got to be willing to know, like, okay, that tells you a lot about their mentality, what your support system will look like. If you're talking about joining with this person, you're also joining with them. So you really want to like get in with the family quick, because it'll tell you a lot of things that you need to ask. Because see, a lot of times I realize this. We think that we having important conversations, but we all in love. We like, I just like the way his waves glisten. I like the way he walk. But no, you need to like really ask like you really got to see the family because it really helps you learn their mentality. Also, too, pay attention. If they don't want to talk about certain things, that's a red flag. Because how is it that you want to pledge to be my life partner forever, but we can't have a conversation? You gotta really talk. You gotta talk. And then for singles, don't compromise certain stuff that you know that if you don't have it, it's gonna make you a whole different individual. Like me, for instance, if you listen, I was born on the best day of the year. If you don't tell me happy birthday, deal breaker. Listen, a happy birthday costs you nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm just saying, while you single, that's the time to really be picky and choosy. Because the thing is, you may think something is so petty, but it can be rooted to something else from your childhood, whatever trauma it may be linked to. So you have to be honest with yourself about why certain things are important to you, as well as be clear about why things are important to them. And I think that we try to glaze over too much stuff that it's like, no, that bothers me. It's going to bother you if you dating, and it's really going to really bother you more when you marry.
We could just keep going right there. I'm going to add a few to that list. Singles, engaged, get to know yourself. Have your own friends. Don't expect your spouse to do everything you want them to do or the way you want them to do it. If you like doing crazy fun things but your spouse doesn't like you, don't be mad at them all the time. They don't want to do it. Go find you some friends that do it. Have your own life outside of your spouse. I love that you said that infatuation stage, and when you're in it, you don't even know what to add. You're just in a whole different headspace. And so have you some friends and family members around you that will challenge you, maybe even throw other questions out at you so you can think about them, because the things that you don't think about now, you definitely will think about later. And then the last point, just bringing your whole concept back in, the things that are small that seem to be petty or doesn't really make a big deal, they will magnify. That, oh, you didn't give me no flowers. Oh, you didn't say happy birthday. Oh, you didn't, do something like my mama did or somebody. And the other thing I'll say is, think about the things that you grew up with that are really, really important to you. Make a little list. And when you go on a date, talk about those things and see, do y'all mesh right there? Can you compromise in those places? Yes. Is he going to treat you somewhat like how she was brought up? Because she's going to try to blend into your world, and you're going to try to blend into her. But, I mean,
that's how you were groomed. Yeah, that's how you were groomed. So it mattered. Those things matter to you, even though it's not about like following, like they're not going to be your dad. They're not, she's not going to be your mom. But the detail, like if it, like you were loved in details, those things matter. Like for me, my dad was very detail oriented, very thoughtful. My dad traveled for a living, so he bought me stuff from every place and he traveled. So I want that in my relationship. You know what I'm saying? But also too, I would say this, make sure that you realize that marriage is for purpose. It's all fine and good to be married to somebody that you love and you like and all of that stuff. But here's the thing. Don't join with anyone who is going to make you feel as though that you cannot fulfill your purpose, because that's going to be an ultimate deal breaker, because we all came here as individuals with the individual purpose that God wants us to fulfill. And so for marriage, we're supposed to be joining with people who are going to help us stretch our capacity, that are going to help us get to that goal. And so I would say that that's one of the most important things that I learned is don't join with anybody who's not on board with that. If they don't like that you do hair, or they don't like that you own a barbershop and you're entrepreneurial base and they want you to work a 9-to-5, that's a deal breaker. Don't get with anybody that feels more secure with somebody who works a 9-to-5 if you know that God called you to be a business owner, because you have to go and beyond a person who has a 9-to-5. Like that's going to be something that y'all are going to argue about. Like y'all are ready to duke it out. And so don't do it. Don't do it, because you're going to already, it's going to be a lot of stuff that you're going to have to go through growing pains with, but don't create any unnecessary things to have to argue and to have friction and tension. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. It doesn't feel good, and it's hard to go to sleep next to somebody that you like. I really want to roll you off the side of this bed right now. Like, don't play footsies with me. I don't care how good you was looking earlier when you went to work. You made me mad. Like, that's real life. That is real
life. Oh my gosh, I want to stay right there, but we got to get some more questions in. So I love it. Why do you think it's important for people to dust themselves off after divorce? I know your book and your whole focus and your keyword is becoming for a reason. It means to move forward, to keep going on that journey. Why is it important for people to, dust their shoulders off, so to speak, and move forward past divorce? Let's speak to that couple minutes so we can get through a few more questions.
Because you came here by yourself. It's cool if you get married and you have somebody, you have a purpose. I'm waiting on you to fulfill your purpose, because some of your purpose may be linked to my purpose, maybe linked to my children's purpose. Maybe like you may be supposed to be my son's math teacher in the future, and you may be the teacher that changes his whole outcome on education or his trajectory. So I need you to become, because everybody is waiting on you to become. So you got to dust yourself off. Like, think, if I hadn't got up, how many people I've helped, how much I've helped myself, how much I got entrusted me with amazing children. So I couldn't stay down, because they wouldn't even be able to fulfill their purpose had I stayed down. So you got to make sure that you leap into your becoming no matter what. No matter how hard it feels to get up, you got to get up. And it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to get counseling. It's okay to get a coach. It's okay to totally, I'm an advocate. If the stuff that you marinated in, meaning your family, was not conducive to your purpose, it's okay to jump the ship.
So good. Other question is, what's one challenge you feel most parents feel, especially in this pandemic, or just you, first focus on you. What's one of your biggest challenges as a parent or single parent?
That is not enough of me to go around. Like, my kids are very active. So one thing I don't do though is I don't let anybody put me in their box. Like, I'm totally unconventional. Like, I literally show up and say, hey, I'm Drew and Davin and Dorian's mom, and I'm the unconventional parent, just so you have no expectations of me to do anything how you do things. I'm not. So, just be who you are and be okay with that. I think that people judge people so much, and tell your story. You're not telling your story for sympathy, but you would be surprised how many people will be able to understand why you do things the way you do. Own your story. It's okay.
I love it. The next question I'm going to throw out is, how do you find time being a single parent? And any advice for those who are struggling to find themselves while being all these other things?
So, are you asking find time for yourself, or how do I maneuver?
Like your me time?
Listen, I will shut it down. My mental health is so key to me. If I'm not feeling it, okay, everything got to wait today, because Alonda has to be okay. And I think that we need to normalize that. Normalize dropping all the groceries on the floor and sitting down and taking a breath. Normalize coming back to things later. It's okay. And my mom is probably cringing, because she's like, listen, sometimes you just gotta push through. But sometimes it's okay not to push through. Pushing through sometimes is showing up for yourself. And I had to learn that. Like, listen, I'm preaching to myself right now, but I do it now. And I'll be like, no, I ain't gonna be able to make it, and I don't want to talk to nobody, and that's okay, because sometimes I just want to veg out and watch TV. So, hey, I'm not okay if my eyebrows aren't arched. I'm telling y'all, everybody got their thing. If my eyebrows is looking a mess, no, ma'am, we gotta do that one thing if we don't do nothing else. For me,
I love that. And I'm gonna jump up here for a minute, because I gotta piggyback on that. It's so important that we take time for me. And I've been learning that more and more now, having 2 kids and a husband and all these moving parts. It's so important to pause and simply breathe. So I'm a practical person too. If you have not spent any time this week just taking in a couple,
do a sugar scrub in the shower.
Breath. Like, you should feel your lungs fill up and exhale. Like, you're doing yourself a disservice. And I'm not saying it because it's easy to do. Some of the things that are most easy to do, we just don't do it. And sometimes we just need to be reminded of it. So I'm pausing for the calls and say, if you haven't breathed for yourself, you haven't recognized the freedom that Alonda have, and I have too. Like, we just free. I love that you said, I'm just going to show up and say I'm the unconventional mama here. I'm here, but I'm not here to do things like you do it because you a mama. Like, don't judge me. I'm being me. I'm they mama, and that's all right. I love that. It's freedom, and I feel like even in our society and even in our cultures, we're not even programmed to know that that is okay. That's actually healthy. Take that stress, take these expectations off of our shoulders, and just be calm. Love it. Okay, so on to the next go round. Any advice for anyone who's out there who's fearful? I can't say I really feel in this place, because anybody who know me know I'm just doing things. I'm like you. If God give us a heart and the desire and the grace to do it, we just gonna do it. For however long he tells us to do, we're gonna do it. So, but there are a lot of women, and specifically I want to speak to the women who are fearful to become, fearful to leave the umbrella of wife, mother, preacher's wife, mother, whatever these titles we kind of have made our safe haven underneath, but they know they're called to become something else, or to create the storyline, or become the nonprofit organization owner, or the book author, or whatever. Speak to that one who's in the house of fear.
I don't want to just single out women, because I feel like I find that men also too, because of pressure of being a man and
being a man.
I want to just speak to anybody and say this. I would rather you be afraid of not doing something, because here's the thing. What I know is God knows exactly what you need. He knows exactly what you're going to do. You know how you pull that toaster out and it says, see the owner's manual? God is the owner's manual of all of us. He is the awesome manufacturer of all of us. But here's the thing. He will always make provision for anything that you could do. So you don't have to be afraid, because here's the thing. He's going to catch you because he loves you. He's going to catch you. He's going to give you warning. If it's something that you shouldn't do, he'll let you know, like, don't do that. And the thing is, we don't know. And that's the thing. I would encourage you to tune into his voice inside of you, because everything that we need is already within ourselves. And the thing is that, and I think that's what brings fear, because we think that we need all of this thing. We're like, who's going to show up with it? Who's going to have it? You are going to show up with it, because it's already. And so the thing is, just say, God, be with me. Just be with me, God. Like, and he'll show up. He's already there, but he just wants you to invite him. He wants you to acknowledge that he's already at the table with you. And so I would say, I would rather you be more afraid of what you didn't do than what you could do. So definitely jump. And the thing is, our kids, if you're a parent, our kids need to see you yourself and the things that you're doing, because we're hypocrites. If we telling them, you know what, you can do all things through Christ that strengthens you, they gonna be like, Mama, what have you done? Daddy, what did you do? You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing I want to go down in that ground on the day that my kids bury me, and they could be like, my mom was a fireball. She lived to the fullest. So I want to give them that. I feel like that's a gift that we all owe our children and ourselves, just to say, you know what, I know one thing. And you know what, my mom told me, out of all of her kids, she said, I know at least you'll try. And that was all I needed. And she'll never say nothing else good to me. That was the best thing you ever said to me. I'm going to try. I'm going to show up, and I'm going to try. And I want you to also get you some friends that's going to tell you the truth. If you don't, I'm available. I'm taking new friends. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, get you a friend that's going to tell you the truth no matter what, and that you can love them through their truth. But yeah, get you somebody that's about that life, like that you, because the thing is, you got to get somebody in your life that's completely opposite of you. So like me, I got a couple of chill friends. They're gonna be like, no, hold on, fire starter, you need to calm down just a little bit today. So you need that for balance and accountability. But definitely, you're listen, we waiting on you to become. I'm cheering for you. I'm like super excited. Like, I be rooting for strangers I don't even know. And the thing is, for real, because it's encouraging to me to know, like, man, I don't know, I might meet this person later on down the road there because of their yes, that might be a win for me someday in this thing. And I hope that I'm a win for somebody else. If you never meet me in person, I hope that one day I do something life-changing that helps your life be better. You know what I'm saying? I hope. I just hope.
I love it. I love your whole spirit. Like, it's bright. It's joy. It's radiant. It's light. Execution mode. And it reminds me, like, we just gel together. I'm just gonna say that. Another question. Give us some insight, or just a really quick word for any of our single parents that are watching today, from your heart to a single parent.
I want to say, I'm gonna try to say this without crying, because I really feel this in my spirit. I want to say that you're doing an amazing job. And if you think that you're not doing an amazing job, that already lets me know that you are doing an amazing job, because you care. And I want to tell you thank you, because I know that being a single parent is a thankless job. I want to tell you happy birthday, happy Mother's Day, happy Father's Day, because when you're out here by yourself, nobody is telling you. And I want to just tell you that I love you. And I really do, because I know that love and listen, if you hard pressed right now, when it gets hard, that means that God is getting ready to shine you up, and he's getting ready to put you on display. That your story, that everything that you're going through is going to be the change that somebody needs to see, and that is going to be the inspiration that somebody needs. So keep going, keep pressing, keep living. Just know that it's okay to cry. It's okay not to be perfect, and that your kids really love you and they're really grateful for you, even when they don't remember to say thank you. That your evidence is known in their lives, and that they're gonna rise up and call you blessed one day. So keep going, keep pushing.
I love it. Oh my gosh, so heartfelt. Next to the last couple questions. Any tips to encourage people to leap into that becoming?
Listen, like never before, there's been more money in this atmosphere. There has been more opportunity in this atmosphere right now. If you feel a leap in your spirit, you better leap now and figure out the rest later, because time is winding up. What I know to be true for my own life, if you literally just give yourself that love that you give to everybody else, if you just give yourself 12 months of extreme focus, you will look back and be like, I did it. Listen, the things that I've accomplished just in the pandemic alone, with no money, not getting a paycheck. I was working a career job for 5 years, and I hope this really encourages somebody. I got a $12.93 check, but God provided all of my needs. When I tell you all of my needs, I mean all of my needs. And not only did he provide the needs, he went beyond. And so what I say is, right now is the time to leap. If I hadn't leaped, I wouldn't even be right here with you right now. And so listen, that lets you know that it's some time for you to leap, because think, this seat is waiting for you. It's waiting for your testimony. It's waiting for your expertise. Somebody out there is waiting. They at the bus stop like, so when is Robert going to leave? When is Tammy going to leave? When is Jessica going to leave? When is Rachel going to leave? When are you going to leave? Not tomorrow, not the next week, but you got to make a choice. Sometimes just making the choice to leap is the leap. You know what I'm saying? You don't got to have it all figured out. God will perfect it as you do. He needs to know that he could trust you with the flow.
Yes.
You, if you got your hand closed, he can't flow through you. He won't give you more than you can bear. And that's not just with hard times. That's with good times too. If you're not ready to be a homeowner, he ain't going to give you no house, sis, because he don't want you to go into foreclosure. God don't want to see us out here struggling. So the thing is, it's time to leap. Listen, y'all, I would rather you leap and be like, dang, I did it. And maybe I came down on my ankle a little hard, or maybe I hit my kneecap coming down. But you know what? That adrenaline that you're going to feel while you're in the air, that's where change happens. That adrenaline in the air, that's when the plan comes to forth. That's when you start to believe again. That's when you return to that childlike faith. And when you in that childlike faith, you want to be everything. You want to do anything. You know that you can do anything. And I pray that for y'all. I really pray that you return to that childlike faith and you start to believe again. I don't care if you like, girl, I want to be an astronaut, a flight pilot. I was that. And you know what? I was a little kid that wanted to do everything. And guess what I'm doing? All the things I said I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a chemist. I created a product line. I wanted to be a hairstylist. I am a hairstylist for 21 years. And not only that, I was a change agent for a vocational school to even come about. I was the youngest person in hair school. And I'm not saying that to toot my own horn, but just think, had I not took the leap, had I not came to my mom with the crazy idea, like, hey mom, I need you to teach on your lunch break so that I can go to this homeschool co-op. Vocational school wouldn't even be a thing. Somebody else wouldn't be able to be a cosmetologist. So you know, it's somebody is waiting on you to take the leap. Take the leap. You're waiting on you to take the leap. Just do it. Just do it.
So good. If y'all not excited and ready to take some leaps, then something wrong. Because I'm over here and I got my hand is too many irons some days. But I want to take a new leap. Just listen.
Right, me too. I'm ready to leap some more. Real talk. Let's get the double dutch ropes out. Like, listen, practice. Go jump rope outside with your babies. If you figure how to leap, get ready. Get the knees ready. Pray for the Megan Thee Stallion knees. It's time to leap. Seriously, y'all. Seriously, we ain't getting no younger. Tomorrow's not promised. If you didn't see nothing, Man, as much death as we have seen, y'all, it's like I ain't never seen as many people die, and I'm about to be 38 years old. I'm like, listen, all ages. So you want to live every day like it is your last. Like I've seen babies die, I've seen young children die, I've seen young adults die. But you know what? I saw this one man lose his life at 20 years old, but he had lived more than me, and I was half his age. And I'm just saying, if that doesn't inspire you to live every day, I'll listen. If I go tomorrow, they gonna be like, man, she was about that life.
Yeah, right. Me the same, girl.
And you know, the old folks used to sing this song at funerals, and they be like, let the works that I've done speak for me. Listen, let it speak. Let it speak. What will they say about you on that day? What will they say? I want y'all to say all the crazy stuff. I want y'all to be like talking about me to the point where people forget to be sad. Because I was about that life. And I'm going to stay about that life.
You know what? I'm going to piggyback just on that. This last 2 weeks, because there's been a death a week ago. My aunt just passed 2 days ago, so there's another funeral this week. And I second everything you just said. I have never seen so many deaths, young, old, black, white. It don't even matter. It's just everywhere. And though that is sad for me, it charges me even more to be an executor, to complete the assignments. And so I love what you're saying. Even that last part of like, you know, the funeral. I told my friends and my husband and my mama the other day, I said, if I should leave here before y'all do, make sure y'all throw me a party. Like I want a party funeral. I don't even want the conventional, 2 songs and the Old Testament, New Testament. Sprinkle that in, but just throw a party. Pass the mic and say how many crazy things Amber encouraged you with and did for you, and just randomness. Because don't be sad for me, because we're doing our work. And so for those who are watching, whether it be in your relationship, your business, your ministry, whatever God's giving you to do, we are challenging you to be calm, to thrive, to live out loud whatever God's put in you, because like she said, somebody's waiting on you. And even more than that, I always think about the fact that when we go before the Lord, and this is my belief, I know everybody watching may have different ones, but when we stand before the Lord, we will give an account to what we've done in this body. And I want to say I did everything I could. Okay, I wrote the book, I did this, I brought the children up the way I could. Use whatever you have is what I'm saying. Use whatever you have, whatever your experiences are, your testimonies, good, bad, the hardships, whatever. Because we're going to leave here and we want to leave some good things. And so we're going to close up with one last question. Then I want you to tell the people how they can connect with you and then a little bit about your book. The last question is, if you could speak to the Alonda from 20 years ago, knowing what you know now and the life experiences, what are some nuggets, some gems you would have taught or tried to impart into that younger Alonda?
First, I would tell her to make a run for it. Make a run for it. Don't let anything grow underneath your feet. Continue to go. Do everything that you know that in your heart's desire that you can do to make an impact. I would say don't let anybody change your countenance. Love the way you want to love. And even if the love is not received, continue to love how God chose you to love. And just everything you do it with your whole heart. Do it with purpose. Do it unapologetically. Like I wish I would have known that word, because, back in the day, I cared about what people thought a lot. And but even in my fearlessness for myself, I still was like, oh, how they gonna feel about that? So I would say just make a run for it, baby girl. Be on the run with your life and do everything to the fullest without any compromise, without any fear, without any question, and make an impact. Touch everybody you can, touch every hand you can, hug everybody you can, and tell everybody you love them, because I really did live that.
Wow. I love it. I love it. Well, you have been a phenomenal guest, dropping so many nuggets and inspiring and encourage even me listening to your story. Tell us a little bit about your book that's coming out, and also how people can connect with you, and then we'll close out on that. that note?
So you can connect with me on Facebook and on Instagram under I Must Become and the number 1 behind that. And you can also go to my website, imustbecome.com. And so you can email me everything through my website as well. My book is also on there for pre-sale, and you want to get it because it is a page turn like a mug. You're gonna be like, what? Y'all only got a snippet of the story. Y'all like, really, you didn't even get a snippet. But so my book is called I Must Becoming Unapologetically and Unconventionally. And it is coming. Like, it is literally coming. And I'm super excited about it because it is 100% transparent. If you really know me in real life, I'm an open book. You ask me anything, but it just takes you on a journey of being born on that fantastic day. I was born on a day that is a full sentence and it's a commandment. I was born March 4th, so I knew that I was here and I was born to have a purpose and make an impact. So it takes you on a journey of my life. It tells you a little bit about my business entrepreneurial start, talks about my marital journey, talks about my motherhood, and it talks about my business acumen. So you get all of me in that one piece of body of work. And then I also have my other books up there as well. So you can get other parts of my story and my journey. But this has been an amazing interview. I'm so happy to be here with you guys. This was a blessing for me as well. So thank you so much for having me, Queen.
Likewise, Queen. It was so nice to just hear your story and connect a little further. This is not going to be the end of us. Hopefully, you will come back again in the future and bring some more goodies. But like she said, please connect with Miss Alonda. She has so many other things. She also has a podcast that you can plug into that she airs every single week. And so here at Real Talk, we definitely like to share the goodness around. So plug into her directly. And thank you again for being here. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. If you didn't get anything from today, shame on you. Shame on you. Okay, baby? Miss Alonda has poured out so many nuggets here at Marriage of Real Talk. And so if nothing more, go back and watch the replay. And for those who missed it, that's okay. The replay is going to be here for you. We hope that you are also becoming the best in spite of whatever your life journey, your relationship journey looks like, your health journey, your financial journey, whatever looks like. Continue to believe and continue to thrive because you're here on purpose by God's divine plan for you to be here. And so without further ado, thank you so much again for tuning into Marriage of Real Talk. We'll be back with you again in the very near future. Have a great rest of your day. Have a good one, everyone.